I want to talk to you about the PNC Bank's $25,000 personal line of credit. Of course, we are speaking about an unsecured line of credit. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sort of Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great and blessed as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about the PNC Bank's $25,000 personal line of credit. This is unsecured, okay, no collateral needed. And PNC Bank has been around for a while. They actually started in 1852, so it's a great bank. But we love the fact that they're constantly innovating. So when we talk about the constellation of credit products that they offer, personal loans, personal lines of credit, and other types of loans, they are constantly innovating, okay? And whether you need to fund home improvement projects, consolidate other debts, or pay for some other expense, a personal credit from PNC can help you if you are in a financial crunch, okay? So where does the company operate? PNC has a branch footprint in the Mid-Atlantic, Midwest, and Southeast regions. However, people from all 50 states plus the District of Columbia can apply online for a personal loan or line of credit, not a problem. And the application process may vary depending on where you are located, okay? What are the pros and cons of this product? Pros: you have a range of line and loan amounts and repayment terms, no prepayment penalty, and no application no origination or application fee. You get a 0.25% point discount if you set up autopay using a PNC checking accounts. This is why it's really important to have a relationship, to have an MPR with the bank, a multi-product relationship. And applicants can secure a loan or line of credit with a co-signer. You have low borrowing minimum and rate discounts available. What about the cons? So account features like the ability to complete the full application online or get pre-qualified, and rates vary by location. So pre-qualification is only available to select customers. So to qualify for the best rates, you're going to need an excellent credit score, and plus the lowest rates apply to larger balances starting around $15,000. Okay, and borrowing limit is not too high. So when you think about it, you're only limited to $25,000. But yeah, so the thing I want to say here is that PNC personal lines of credits are great, low-cost options for most people, especially for those who don't want to borrow too much. Okay, and the big question is PNC reputable? Yes, definitely. This is one of the biggest banks in the United States. They are a financial behemoth, so you can trust them. As a matter of fact, they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. And we love the fact that they have also good overall ratings online, whether you are talking about Trustpilot or other forums. Let me talk to you about the process. Folks, we are still having a conversation about the PNC Bank $25,000 personal line of credit. This is an unsecured line. So how do PNC personal lines of credit work? One thing you need to understand is that as a potential borrower, you can begin the application process for this kind of loan. You can do it at a branch. You can do it by phone, or depending on the states where you're located, you can actually do it online. Okay, so online, in person at a branch, or by phone. This is the trifecta I want you to think about. And you will have to share personal and financial information, including your name, your social security number, your birth date and address, a photo ID, annual income, plus other income you wish to include. It's all about your financial situation, your monthly housing expenses, the desired line amounts. Remember, the line amounts go from $500 all the way to $25,000. Okay, and if you are consolidating other debts, you must list the creditors' names, total balance owed, and the amount of their monthly payments. This is really important. And co-applicants will also need to include address and annual income. And if you already have a PNC online banking account, you just signing. And so you can have you can also pre-fill your application because they already have your data anyway. Okay, so the application, based on our research, takes just a few minutes to complete, and in some, but not all cases, PNC will offer they will give you a decision right away, along with instructions on how to proceed. Now, everybody loves fast, right? Everybody wants speed, so people are tempted to do the application online. It's great if you have excellent credit. It's great if you have good credit. I'm talking here 7 to 750. That's the category, or even above. You can do the application online. But if you have less than that, if you are in the 600 or you're in the 500, you want to go to a branch. Okay, this is really important. And there are some restrictions though. PNC says that borrowers may not use lines of credit to pay for college related expenses or to refinance a student loan. Okay, PNC has separate student loan and refinancing options. I also want to say that when we talk about income, so when PNC asks you to provide income, make sure that you can verify the income. So in other words, it has to be verifiable income. And you can provide pay stubs, for example. You can provide 1099s or your W-2s. And in some cases, you might have to provide your most recent tax returns, your 1040 or your 1065 if you have a business on the side, so that PNC will have proof that you do have a job and that you are paid the amount that you say that you are paid every 2 weeks or every month. Let's talk about the proceeds. Money, 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 money. Everybody loves money. Now, you can actually, so once you have the line of credit from 500 all the way to 25,000, there are a lot of things you can do with that. A lot of things, okay? A variety of purposes. Obviously, I told you earlier, you can't use the money to pay for college related expenses, okay? But you can consolidate debt. You can fund home improvements or repairs. You can use the cash to handle unexpected expenses. So this is really good, okay? We love that. And so you have a low borrowing minimum and multiple terms. The thing here is that PNC allows you to borrow. In some cases, we said it's $35,000 or $25,000, but the limit depends on the state where you're applying from. In some states, the limit is $35,000. In other states, it's $25,000. Okay, and you need to understand that they are pretty flexible. PNC is pretty flexible in terms of their repayment terms. You can choose a term of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 years. It depends on you. One thing you need to also understand is that the final amount that you get approved for will depend on your credit worthiness. This is important, okay? And on the website, we also have a PNC personal line of credit calculator. So this is really great. This is a tool that allows you to evaluate if this is a yay or nay, if this is a go or no go. So you can see, and you can actually see the amount that you will have to repay every month versus your current budget, okay? And one thing you need to also understand is that the minimum income is $18,000 a year. That's the minimum, okay? We're speaking here about gross income, so that's pre-tax income, $18,000 a year. Your FICO, 575, according to our research. That's the minimum, but you need to have a strong relationship with the bank, okay? You also need to be able to prove to PNC that you will be able to pay the line of credit. You need to pay it off. And this is where they have to pay attention to your liquidity situation, your cash inflows and outflows. They will pay attention to your DTI, your debt to income ratio, and they will also pay attention to your credit utilization. Okay, because when we talk about credit utilization, we are speaking about revolving lines of credit, including credit cards and lines of credit. Very important. Let me talk to you about the timing, folks. We are still having a conversation about PNC Bank's $25,000 personal line of credit. And how long does it take to get the money? So PNC, first of all, let's talk about the fees. Fees are important also. PNC Bank does not charge an application fee or origination fee on its personal line of credit. No. So that's a good thing. If you were to ask me, that's a good thing because it means that you pay less over the life of the line of credit. You also will not pay a fee to pay the line of credit off early. This is really great. So if you find a windfall and can pay the line of credit in full, there's nothing stopping you. Just go ahead and do it. The one fee to worry about is the late payment fee of $36. This is really important. You want to pay attention to that. So if you are never late on a payment, you don't have to worry about this either, okay? So when you apply for a line of credit, the whole process takes 10 to 15 minutes. We have found that with PNC, it took us 10 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes, okay? So depending on the specifics of your application, you will get an immediate decision, or you have to wait for one. And so once your line of credit is approved, the money will arrive in your account within a few days. And we have seen that if PNC needs to review your account, they'll probably take up to 1 week, up to 7 business days to review your whole application, to look at your financials, to make sure that you are a safe bet for them. Okay. And you also want to think about getting an interest rate discount for setting up automatic payments. This is important. Okay. So if you have a relationship with the bank and you have, and again, we strongly encourage you, if you try to look for, if you want to get this 25,000 personal line of credit with them, you definitely want to have a strong relationship with them. I mean, not just have one account. You want to have 2 accounts, 3 accounts, 4 accounts, but all those accounts must be deposit accounts, no liability accounts, no debt accounts. Credit cards are not counted. Lines of credit are not counted. Loans are not counted. Mortgages are not counted. I'm talking about a constellation of asset accounts. Okay, and you also want to set up so once you set up the automatic payments, you will get a 0.25% rate discount. So this is really great. So this benefit can add up to hundreds of dollars saved over the course of the line of credit. So think about that. This is really important. Let me talk to you about approval, folks. So how do you get approved quickly? Because the goal is to apply and be approved right away. And so once you have decided to apply for a personal line of credit with PNC, you just need to figure out how to get approved for a line of credit and how much you should ask for. Okay, so the first step towards getting approved is actually applying. And applying, you can do this online. You can do this, I've told you before, at a branch. Yes, this is totally possible. You can do it over the phone. So you have 3 ways. But our preference goes to the branch application process. You're able to talk to someone. You can sit with them. Okay. They'll ask you for a few things. I've already said this before, but I just want to indicate that they might ask for a proof of identity, such as a driver's license, your social, of course. So your employment must be verifiable. I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. It's very important. If you get paid in cash, you need to be able to have your employer send PNC Bank a letter of verified employment, a letter that asserts, that corroborates that you indeed work at the company, that you are getting paid every week, every 2 weeks, every month, and that you have been working at the company for so and so many months. Okay, it's important, and because PNC uses this information to make a lending decision. Now, if you want to be approved quickly, make sure that you make at least $18,000 a year in gross income, that your FICO is as high as possible. I've said before that the FICO, the minimum is 575. Yes, this is the FICO that you need, but guess what? The higher your FICO, the better. So if you can beef up your FICO before applying for this line of credit, this is just fantastic. And you also want to make sure that if they're asking you for additional information, you do not ghost them. You want to respond promptly. You want to provide things like bank statements. You want to provide things like your tax returns. If they want to see your 1040s for the last 2 years or 3 years, you want to provide the information as soon as possible. The thing is, they will give you a secure email where you can just send them all the info, or they even have a processing online. So you just have to log into your account, and from your account, from your dashboard, you should be able to upload data and submit it electronically to PNC Bank for review. And this is all encrypted. This is all secure. Okay. Bottom line is, you want to get back to them as soon as possible. Never ghost them. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks. We're still having a conversation about the PNC Bank's $25,000 personal line of credit, and I want to talk to you about the strategy. So what can help you improve your chances of getting approved for this personal line of credit? And I want to dig a little deeper here. It's important. And besides your credit score, you also want to understand that financial discipline will help you down the road. Okay, you want to think, because when we're thinking about a line of credit, we also have to think about your current debt load. How much do you owe right now? Okay, because your credit score at the end of the day is a numerical representation of your financial trustworthiness. Can lenders trust you? Can insurance companies trust you? Can landlords and mortgage companies trust you? Money, money, money. Money, money, money. Money is important, I understand, but one thing you need to understand is that you need to be financially responsible to be granted the kind of credit that you need. Okay, so the higher your score, the more likely you are to pay your debts. And PNC Bank will look at that before granting you, whether it is 15,000 or 20,000 or 25,000 in personal line of credit. Okay, and one thing you need to do is you want to decrease the amount of money you owe. If you're trying to boost your credit score, you want to work on two things. You want to obviously pay your bills on time, and this good history of financial behavior will account for 35% of your credit score. But you also want to pay attention to your credit utilization ratio. This is why you want to decrease the amount of money you owe. So stop using your credit cards in the month before you apply for a line of credit. That way, when PNC Bank checks your credit score, they will see that, oh, wow, you have a high CUR. You have a low CUR, rather. You have a low credit utilization ratio, and that will be in favor of your credit score. Okay, you want to reduce your debt to income ratio also. This is important, okay? And the ratio is the amount you owe divided by how much you make in a year. So the lower the ratio, the easier it will be for you to pay off any new debts that you take on. Okay, so one way to do this is by increasing your income. And this could be difficult, but listen, you need to find ways to have it done. You can get a side job, you can get a side gig rather, you can get a second job, maybe work on weekends, or do some online tutoring, or you just want to sell your talents online, whatever it is to generate extra cash, do that. And before we close today's conversation, I want to do a quick comparison with other players in the field. And there's one particular player that I just want to say that PNC is not the only bank that offers personal lines of credit. You should really take the time to shop around and find the best option for you. Okay, this is really important. And let me give you an example. You can see on the screen here. Okay, and here we are talking about. Just give you a second here. We have here U.S. Bank. So U.S. Bank also offers lines of credit, personal lines of credit. And with the U.S. Bank, you have larger limits. So you have credit limits up to, of course, you have $25,000, but you have more products. No collateral is required. You have instant access to your line of credit when you book online or in a branch. This line of credit has no annual fees. You have competitive rates, and the rates are around 10% to 15%. Okay, you have the same low APR for advances, balance transfer, and purchases, and you have easy access to funds with a Visa Access card, personal line access checks, and an ATM online, mobile, or in a branch. Okay, so you want to remember, whether you go for a line of credit with US Bank or another lender, you want to constantly think about a few things. There are a few things I want you to think about when evaluating a line of credit. So big decision time. Are you ready? Okay. First thing, you want to look at the interest rates. So lower rates means lower payments, and a total cost for the line of credit that is also low. So you want to find the lowest rate that you can, as long as it is not at the expense of other essential features. You want to pay attention to fees, folks. Very important. Some lines of credits charge origination fees, which are tacked onto your initial debts. So if you borrow, let's say $10,000, and you pay a 2% origination fee, your first bill will show a balance of $10,200 plus interest, right? So the interest is the $200. I mean, the fee is $200, but then you have to think about the interest also. So the lower the origination fee you can find, the better off you are. This is important. And make sure the lender offers a line of credit term that is right for you. So some lenders specialize in line of credits. They have a short term. Other lenders will offer lines of credit with repayment plans that last 5 years, 6 years, or 7 years. So it's all about your personal situation, okay? You need to strike a balance between a monthly payments, that you can manage and a low total cost of the line of credit. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about PNC Bank's $25,000 personal line of credit. And as I gave you an overview, I spoke about the process, the proceeds, the timing, the approval, the strategy, and I also showed you what you can do if you were comparing PNC Bank's product to US Bank, for example. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.